I'm gonna say it again for y'all. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Now, what does that mean? Who knows what that means? How many intelligent people we got in the room? Who knows what that means? In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. If y'all don't know what that means that even when resources are readily available, that's a good answer, NBA, a ignorant ear. But the deeper than that, it's even when resources are readily available, somebody may still lack what they need because they don't recognize or they don't know how to utilize what's in front of them. Now, why is it that in the age of information, in the age of Aquarius, where we got all these cell phones, TVs, computers, all this electronics and technology, that we don't have knowledge of self, that we don't understand life, and that we don't understand reality? Well, the reason being is because we've been given false information. We've been given misinformation. It's so much junk knowledge running in our subconscious minds that it take away from the true information that we're supposed to be feeding our minds. Right? We talk about the Bible, but don't understand the Bible. I was listening to Billy Carson and the other gentleman have a dialogue about the Bible, and they was talking about, oh, well, the Bible came from this person. It was written by these people. It came from this region and this time and this time. But the essence of the whole matter is that any information in a book, any information and all knowledge comes from DNA. DNA is the molecular blueprint for all information. It is the mind of God. And the first human beings to be on the planet is black people, melanated beings. Even if you look into the Bible and you look at where Jesus was born at, Jesus was born in Palestine, the Middle East. That's right next to Africa and Egypt. That's between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. Objectively speaking, Christ would have to have melanin for him to be able to survive in that region. And the reason why we got misinformation is because we live inside of the mind of our oppressor, and we choose to continue to run off of their belief systems. We continue to choose to run off of our lower selves misinformation, junk information that's keeping you stuck in the mind. All this information is the mind trap. People talking about the Anunnaki and the Palladians and all these religions, all of this shit is a mind trap. These are paradigms or patterns of the mind that keep you locked into a lie, keep you locked into your lower self-reflection. We gotta be mindful of the information that we take in. All information for you not good for you. Just like the grocery store, 95% of the grocery store is bullshit. Only 3 to 5% of that information or that food in there is healthy for you. You see what I'm saying? And the reason why this is harming us is because, appreciate that, Magic Tarot, peace, God. And the reason why this is harming us is because we stand stuck. We're stuck. The information that we're running off of keeps us stuck. We're stuck in, oh, Jesus is God. We're stuck in Jesus is the creator. We're stuck in Christianity. We're stuck in Islam. All of these things are reincarnation traps. Everything not meant for you. Remember that these religions are half true and half false. It's meant to be decoded. It's meant to be decoded. It's not meant to be taken literally. People are taking these documents and these resources as literal truths for them to live their life on. Peace, Becky. Big sexy, what up? Peace to the gods. So understand, man, the Caucasian, our lower self, lacks melanin. It lacks intelligence, right? The Bible, all the information, look, all of this information comes from the powers that be or the people of that time, their perspective of nature. We live in a time where the lower self is ruling. So we live within the perspective of how they see nature, but they don't have the melanin to truly interpret what's going on. And we're living through that information. On that debate that I was listening to, they was talking about the Bible and who was made from, and the Sumerians and all this stuff. All that stuff is a distraction from what is. First off, let's look at what the Bible is made out of. If you want to understand your reality, let's break down your reality on a molecular level, on a subatomic level. What is the Bible? The Bible is a fucking book that's made out of paper and wood. That comes from trees. It comes from nature. The Bible is nature. I asked the gentleman that came up to me and was talking to me with his wife, I asked him, well, who made the Bible? He said, God. I said, well, where's God? I said, who is God? He said, well, God is the creator. I said, well, where's the creator that created you? Oh, it's everything that's encompassing in the physical reality. There is no physical world. Even in the Bible will show you that it's a science book. It said that in the beginning, God was hovering over the deep, the watery depths of the deep. The quantum field of primordial, you feel me? The quantum field of infinite primordial, hold on, the quantum field of infinite possibilities. That is the primordial womb, the primordial field that God was hovering over in the beginning. And God said what? Through the word which formulate from thoughts, so let there be light. We do this every day. It's a scientific fact that in order for you to get into this reality, which is a dream, it's a scientific fact that you were in darkness and was asleep last night. And then you said, let there be light. You thought and you imagine yourself into this reality. You begin to project yourself into this reality reflection. This is what God did. That's quantum physics. How nothing cometh to something. How light is darkness. How subatomic particles and light behave on a quantum level. The Bible is a science book. It talks about astrology, the sun, the moon, the stars. It talks about biology. Let us make man in our image and our likeness. Whose image is a man made out of? Well, the XY chromosome is made out of the XX chromosome's image. These are scientific facts. And this is where we are stuck at. And here's another mind trap that we get stuck in as well, right? Because we're evolving within the age of Aquarius and we're becoming more conscious, right? Like Chief teaches us. The new mind trap that we're all stuck in is that we're all God. You know, everybody talk about being the main character and shit. Yeah. Oh, I'm the main character. I'm a main character. While you are the main character of your reality, we are all one. Who's the main character of the existence that we are all living in, of the actuality that we are all existing in? And this is where we are stuck at. Everybody believes that they are God and believes that they are Christ. And this is what it says in the Bible, that it's going to be a time that comes where it's going to be many false prophets. Because everybody believes that they are God, everybody believes that they're Christ, and that they're the anointed one and the chosen one. But let me get this. Let me help you get this straight. There can only be one Christ. There can only be one anointed one. Now everyone else we will all be extensions of that entity, which will be the dreamer. Because this is also what they don't tell you in the Bible. They don't tell you that. And I like the acronym. I don't know if y'all ever heard the acronym of the Bible. It's called Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth. I like that acronym. I heard that back in the day when I was probably like 18 or 17 or something like that. But damn, what I was about to say, I lost my train of thought, y'all. But peace to the guys in the room. But yeah, this is what they're not telling y'all. While everybody believes that they're God, they're not telling you that the Bible was actually a book about Jesus's dream. Jesus was actually the dreamer of the Bible. The Bible was an allegory or a document about the dream that God created and how God came into his own dream to become aware that God was inside his own dream. That's what the Bible is about, but they're not telling you that. And that's the actuality of reality. You have to understand that everything in this existence is a figment of your mind's imagination. You are projecting everything into reality. You are the Bible, you are the tree, you are the phone, you are everything. You see what I'm saying? You said, bro, what? Yeah. Yeah. Life is a dream. The Bible is a story about Jesus's dream reflection. And life is a dream. The Bible is just a symbol of what's going on and what's taking place in your reality. What's happening externally is happening internally. You follow me? And what everybody is missing with Billy Carson and all the Terrence Howard, they all have learned to master the white man's perspective of religion and the white man's perspective of science and mathematics. But remember, there's another level, and that's what Christ came to do. That's what the most honorable prophet Elijah to Christ came to do, came to enlighten us and be a mirror to show us a reflection of what it truly looks like to live through the laws of God, in the image of God, and to do the will of God. Remember, this is a dream. Reality is a dream. When you are sleeping in your bed when you go to sleep at night. You are God in the bed, and you project yourself into your own dream as Christ. We're being projected into this reality. You are placed here. You didn't put yourself here. You didn't think yourself into this existence. You just woke up and was here because something else is, you feel me? Our thoughts are not coming through it, coming out of us. They're coming through us because we're receiving our thoughts. We are being given our thoughts. We are being given our perception and how we perceive reality from our environment, from the source. Christ is the dreamer inside of the Bible. They talked about the crucifixion of Christ. They talked about killing Christ. If you are God in your bed sleeping and you go into darkness and you project yourself into your dream as Christ, and the characters inside the dream decided to kill your physical being, could they exist? No, they couldn't exist. They couldn't exist. That's another fallacy about the Bible, that death is real, that you can kill God, that you can kill the dreamer. If I'm in your dream and you imagine me into your dream, trust no one. If I'm inside of your dream and you projected me into your dream and you are God and you playing Christ and I decided to kill you, could I exist in your dream? No, I couldn't, because you imagined me into your dream. I could only exist contingent upon you observing me. I could never destroy the broadcast that's streaming me into the reality. And this is the realization that we're all coming to. The crucifixion wasn't even a physical death or crucifixion. It was actually a public crucifixion of Christ's character and his teachings. And this is what we're experiencing today in modern day through Chief. Chief is the modern day Messiah, the modern day Christ. If you ask yourself, what would it look like for Christ to come back into this time? Well, Christ will be hated for his teachings. Christ will be hated by the masses. He will come back to his own people, and his own people will see him not. I'm lost? No. The junk information that you've been taking in from your lower self leaves you lost. I understand the dream. That's why I'm able to tell you about the dream. I'm a repeater for God's information. God has come into the form of Chief into the dream to awaken to the fact that he's inside of his own dream. Our mother Lucia imagined herself into the form of the Eligio Bishop, the chosen overseer of the body of God, to wake up to the fact that he's the dreamer of this existence. And this is what we waking up to. This is what religion don't teach you about. They don't teach you that Christ is the dreamer. They don't teach you that life is a dream. All the junk information make you think that this shit real. The junk information make you think that, look, this is junk information. You believing that you got to go to school. You believing that you got to go to work to survive. You believing that you got to put your children in school. That's junk information. All of that, even the Bible, the Quran, all of this information is leading you back to your lower self, is leading you back to Babylon. And this is why there can only be one Christ. And this is why Chief is the Messiah, because he is the only one that showed everybody how to live in tune with nature. Nobody else is doing that. Chief's information, the knowledge and consciousness that we have been given from our messenger, leads us directly back to nature. It don't lead you back to Babylon. The Bible tell you what? What the Bible tell you? The Bible tell you in Luke 14, verse 25, it tell you that in order for you to be a true follower of Christ or a disciple of God, you have to not only hate your mother, brother, sister, your children, but even hate your own life, because we portaled into iniquity. We portaled into a cancer. Appreciate that reflection. We portaled into a cancer cell, into misinformation, into junk information where we don't know ourselves. And now we live in our lower selves. But we hold it on so tight to this information because we don't want to change. And that's why when Chief came to his own people saw him not, because we don't want to change. We don't want to change because that junk information, that lie that we've been living in, that information that allows us to live in a lie, it keeps us comfortable. It keeps us comfortable. But remember, you can't grow in your comfort zone, reflection. You can't grow in your comfort zone. So what we need to do is reprogram our subconscious mind. Understand that all of this junk information has been downloaded into you from age 0 to 7. From age 0 to 7. You not living out your own life. You not living out your organic thoughts, your organic self. You're living out who you think you are through the lens and through the mind of your oppressor, of your alter ego, the part of you that thinks that, oh, yeah, I'm my last name. I'm a woman, I'm a man. You're literally a consciousness, and none of this shit exists. This is a dream, and you're being imagined into this existence. We live within a dream infinitely. And guess what? The acronym of the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Understand that, because Chief helps us understand reality in totality. The earth is the nucleus of a neuron cell inside of the mind of God. We are all living inside of a cell, and we are all cells made up out of cells infinitely. In order for you to leave the earth realm, the earth plane, which is the dimension of your mind, you have to go through your imagination. That's why Chief teaches us that the only way out is to go in your imagination. But guess what? The only way out of this earth realm is through pure and objective truth, the most highest and pure information that you can have on this earth plane. And in the age of information, we're in an abundance of lies. 95% lies, fallacies, unfulfilled information, theories, subjectivity. You feel me? Subjectivity. The only way out of the earth realm is to utilize your imagination and keep the laws of God, keep the laws of nature. That's why Chief teaches us the 5 sciences: astrology, biology, quantum physics, melanin, and grounding. These 5 sciences together gives you the complete analysis of what reality is, and it's irrefutable. It's irrefutable. I'm never broken because my spirit has been healed through divine information that has been given from Chief. Your soul is your mind. My mind has been fixed. I'm not broken. I'm still healing, but I'm not broken. You see what I'm saying? How can you break what can't be bent, broken, or you see what I'm saying? How can you break it? How can you break, or how can a mind be broken? Come on, man. I'm lost. Well, you only perceive me how you perceive yourself, because I'm a figment of your imagination. Reality is contingent upon how you think and how you believe and how you perceive it. So if you perceive that I'm lost, well, you only are showing who you are. You're only projecting how you feel about yourself and what's going on in your reality. And that has nothing to do with me, King. And I wish you peace and blessings. I wish you love and abundance. I wish you nothing but life and everlasting life and truth. I don't got time for ignorance. We on positivity. We turn all negative into positivity. Babylon feeds you ignorance and wants you keep you vibrating low. You see, it's the misinformation that you're running off of, the junk information, the junk knowledge, the self-hate that you're running off of that makes you want to come up here and stone me. But let me let you know something, because a wise man once told me, God once told me, that you never look good trying to make somebody else look bad. Pyramid. You feel me? And on that note, like I said, you can't leave the earth realm without having the proper knowledge. You can't create a heavenly realm or a heavenly existence without you embodying truth. Truth is objective. We've been taught subjectivity. We run off of how things feel. We base ourselves off of how, what I feel, I want, what I think, but is what you're thinking, can that be studied over and over again and come out the same? Is that a fact? Is that an irrefutable fact? If not, then it's just your subjective opinion. I respect it, but it holds no weight when it comes to reasoning and finding solutions to us getting out of our sleep. But the solution is already here. Your whole purpose of being in this dream, somebody came in and their name earlier was, why are you here? Great name. Great name, because that's a great question for you to ask yourself. Why are you here? We gave ourselves the Bible. We gave ourselves the Quran. We gave ourselves public education school systems. All of these other different schools of knowledge and belief systems for us to remember. But why are you here? You are here to have knowledge yourself. You are here to understand that we are living inside of God's mind and we are living inside of God's dream, and that God imagined us into this reality and came down into the dream to experience itself in its own dream and to become aware of that fact. We are here to understand that life is a dream. We are here to understand that we are supposed to be rowing our boats and living in harmony with the flow and the equilibrium of the existence. That's why you're here. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to have knowledge of self and know how God wants to experience you inside of the dream through you, and be that. And know that life is not real. Life is all a simulation. And the goal is to awaken to the fact that you're inside the dream. But you can only awaken to the fact that you're inside the dream when you come into contact with the dreamer of that reality. And that's what distinguishes the dreamer and separates the dreamer from the rest of the dream, which is the dreamed. What separates the dreamer, which is chief, from the rest of the dream, which is us, the subconscious, is that the dreamer has the most extensive and the most conscious awareness of what reality is, and can bring everybody back to the understanding of what that is. And that's through nature, and that's what Chief did. Life is a movie. Life is a movie. Life is a movie. And this is another way and another reason why everybody can't be Christ. Because life is a movie, and inside of a movie, there's a bunch of characters, and everybody plays a character. Everybody has a role, but there are specific characters that play more of a main character role. But the whole movie is surrounded around one being. Like if you look at the movie Friday, you would think that Smokey was the main character because he has such a pivotal role in there. You would think Debo was the main character because he has such a great role in there. You would think Pops had a role in there. You would think he was the main character, but Craig was the main character, and everything was surrounded around Craig. Everybody's existence, Craig was a central figure and connection in everybody's reality. Now, everybody can't be Christ because, well, Classy Peach is not the center figure and center talk in everybody's reality. Tasha is not the center talk or central figure in everybody's reality. But who is the center talk in everybody's reality, and who does everybody have to come to? Chief. Chief's name is in everybody's reality. The dreamer would be in the mouths and in the realities of all the characters in the reality, because that's the main character. And all of the characters in the dream surround and orbit the main character. Just as your reality orbits and surrounds you. You're the main character in your reality, but not of the existence, not of the actuality. Because there has been an ordained figure that has come in the human form to awaken human beings. Y'all be thinking that Jesus is God, but Jesus don't exist. Y'all killed Jesus. They killed Jesus. Jesus don't exist. Jesus is an invisible man in the sky. If we are living in God's dream, check this out. We are living in God's dream. Exactly, Tasha. He don't exist. So if that be the case and Jesus is God, right? Because he and the Father are one. He came down in the form, in the flesh as the Father. Him and the Father are one. So that means that Christ or Jesus was God in the Bible. So that means that was Jesus's dream. But if you kill God in God's dream, how does the rest of the dream exist? So that means that if life is a dream and we live inside of God's mind, that means that God has to be one of us inside of the dream as a human being. For us to even exist in this paradigm, for us to exist in this reality, God must be present. God must take shape and form in this dream for us to exist in this simulation. And this is what the junk information don't allow you to understand. The junk information is like insulation, right? You know how rubber and wood insulates you from your connection to the earth? You know how excess mucus insulates the flow of blood and oxygen from getting to the rest of the cells in your body? That's what religion is. That's what schools are. That's what going to work a job is. That's what going to be a sports player or entertainer is. That shit insulating you from what you truly are. That shit insulate, which is no thing, right? When you become into the Christ consciousness, like Chief teaches us, the first thing that you're gonna understand is that you are everything. But to know that you're everything is to mean and to know that you're no thing. So the fact that you're trying to be something other than what you have been placed to be, which is your astrological program, you're not meant to do anything. You're just meant to be. That's why we're called human beings. But we're not able to be human beings because we're not living in our natural states. We're being insulated. You gotta take, it's like getting rid of the self-hate program of not liking your body or not liking your hair or not liking your nose. So women, we put on makeup and eyelashes and weave. Men put on motherfucking lace fronts and get the shit cut down because they bald. Niggas put on contacts. All you gotta take that shit off. Take it off. Take that information out one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Until you strip down to the core and the essence of what you are. When your cup is empty, then you refill it with divine information, and then you can live out truth. Then you can embody truth. But it's not until you decide to let go of the gunk, the junk, the shit that's blocking you from becoming your best version, from you connecting with God and connecting and understanding that life is a dream and understanding that you're here to tap into the dreamer, and whoever is to believe in the Son shall have everlasting life. Come on. Come on. That's what you're here to do. If you're not doing that, then you on a one-way ticket back to hell, which is inside of your mind, which is a state of mind of regret, guilt, shame, fear. Yeah, you hit a one-way ticket right back to that state of mind, and that shit gonna lead you right back to source, because all roads lead to the source. And understand that somebody said I'm lost. Yes, we are lost. We are lost. Because we're going through cycles of consciousness within God's mind. We are awakening to the fact that we are all figments inside God's mind, that we are all thoughts within the mind of God, genes within the DNA of God. And this is the time and period where we are able to awaken to the truth. But it's so much bullshit information out here that it's taken away from the true facts. Everybody worried about this person not being a Messiah, that this person lying, and this person lying, oh, that this person not right, this person not right. But what the fuck are you doing? How are you adding to the collective? How are you changing the vibration on the planet? You see what I'm saying? We distracted by all the other shit, by theories of what could be, of fantasies and ideals of what could be, instead of focus on the practical and what is. Come on. We waking up though. So yeah, we lost. But bitch, I've been found. I've been found. And guess what? I found the dreamer of our existence. What a beauty to find the dreamer of our existence, so that I can be awakened to what's going on, so that I can understand life. Check this out. It's funny. I was talking to a reflection the other day, and this is a part of junk information as well. Sending your children to school and having kids. The system make you believe that you got to have kids and all this. But let me help you understand children. And let me help you understand what kids are. Like Chief teaches us. Children are 23 chromosomes of you. Pyramid. They are not separate from you. They are you. And if you know anything about the methylation process, the methylation process is a process in which nature is in control of. Right before the maturation of the mother or the father's egg and sperm cell, whatever they were going to prior to that, that baby will inherit and become and embody all of that information. Understand that when you have a child, you're learning to become a child again. You're reincarnating. And if you're reincarnating on a frequency of not learning certain lessons, of not embodying certain truths, then you're going to reincarnate as your child to learn and go through that pain and suffering so that you can learn what you didn't learn as yourself. And I asked my reflection, well, you want to have kids? We ain't supposed to be having kids right now. Now is not the time to be having kids. Now is not even the time to be in a relationship. You supposed to be learning how to have a relationship with yourself and everything else around you, because your relationship with you is your relationship with God. So she said, well, I'm going to have my kid on some hard shit. My kid going to be the most talented and all this. I'm going to have them getting all the money and this and this. I said, that's cool and all, but you're going to be leading that baby back into the system. You're not teaching that baby to do nothing against the status quo. You're going to be creating a battery to perpetuate the generational curses and the ignorance that's destroying us right now. Well, she said, no, I can teach my baby about life still being in the system. No, you can't. And then I asked her, because you have to pose critical questions to people so that they can think. I asked her, I posed this question to her. I said, if if you birthed the elephant in the zoo, could you teach that elephant about what life truly is? She said, no. And I said, why is that? Well, because it's not in its natural environment. So how could you teach a being about life if it's not in its natural environment? So you putting a child in a simulated environment and sending it to school to learn about A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 30, when there's only zeros and ones, and this is not a human being's natural environment. You can't teach a child nothing properly about life and about nature. You can only teach that child how to be a resistance to that system while being in the system, or you can try to make that child do what you want it to do, but that environment is what's controlling that child's genetics. Remember, environment is what's controlling your perception and your genetic expression and behavior. So regardless, if you try to make a child do whatever you want it to do, the environment is going to have the majority control over that child's mind. And when that child becomes of age, that child is going to want to start doing what it wants to do. It's going to be attracted to Babylon. But you thought you was going to have a child to change the world. You thought this child was going to change the world. Well, children are blessings and they might change the world. That child, you might be staying in Babylon and have that child for that child to level up and be an angel to help you change. That might be a situation. But why do we want to chance that? Why don't we just want to focus on knowledge of self and becoming the greatest version of yourself and mastering reality and understanding reality to a T, to where you don't have to bump your head like that? But Babylon don't give us that logic. Babylon say, go bump your head, go be ignorant, go do as thy willst. You follow me? So in the age of information, you feel me? People still lack knowledge of self. And it's because we live amongst unfulfilled information. It's because we live in a simulation that's been built off of lies, and we're perpetuating lies. And until we decide to live in truth and let go of the lie, let go of the illusion, that we become conscious. You know, while I was watching that debate between Billy Carson and the other gentleman, they was talking about, while I was watching them, I was thinking about the conscious community and how they believe that they're conscious, and everybody thinks that they're conscious. But understand that the conscious mind rules 5% of reality, and that the subconscious mind rules 95% of the reality. If you're a part of the conscious community, then you're not that conscious of the dream. You're not that conscious of reality, because reality is being ruled by 95% of the subconscious, the dream. Once we become aware that life is a dream, then we'll start to understand the Bible. We'll start to understand the Messiah, the messenger. And this is what we're awakening to. Everybody's coming to the understanding that Chief is the modern day Messiah. And y'all watching the Bible play out in physical, in this simulation. Y'all watching this shit play out. The information has been given to you. But amidst all the junk information, people are still lost. But you know what? It's all for divine reason and divine purpose, right? Because there's polarity to life. There's polarity to the universe. There's up, there's down, there's left, there's right. You feel me? There's over there, over here. And we have to acknowledge that everybody is not supposed to wake up in a dream. Everybody's not meant to know the truth, because somebody has to be an example of what it looks like to go against nature. Somebody has to play, and somebody has to have the energy to be the example to show people what not to do. So those that can't find the truth amidst the junk knowledge, it's because they weren't meant to find the truth. Astrologically, they were not enabled to understand divine truth and divine information, occult information. They were not divinely ordained to be closer to God than others, or to just wake up in this reality this time around. So everything happens for a reason. So even the junk knowledge protects the chosen. You feel me? Because it keep the bullshit away from those that truly need the knowledge, and those that can truly utilize the knowledge to do something good with it. But that's the download for today, man. I wanted to get it off my mind because I've been having a lot of conversations with people, and people just stuck believing that the Bible is the whole truth, believing that being a Nuwabian is the whole truth. While I respect all schools of knowledge, there is one way, truth, and light, and Chief provides us that information, y'all. And I stand on that. Chief is him. I stand on that. I stand on that. You feel me? Because it's the truth. It's the truth. And the chosen, the Allegios, we hearken to the truth. When you hear the truth, it does something to you. It resonates in your spirit. It resonates in your nervous system. You feel it. And the truth is meant to be applied. You feel me? Because you can't truly gain truth without applying it and without the knowledge being applicable to your reality. People not even applying the laws of Christianity to their life. It tell you, I told the gentleman and his wife, I said, are y'all married? They said, yeah. I said, y'all believe in God? Y'all believe that y'all followers of Christ? He said, yes, Jesus Christ himself. I'm like, smooth, good shit. I said, don't it say in there not to give oaths and vows to let your yays be yay and your no's be no? But yet, y'all went and gave your oath to the government, the devil, who was here to steal, kill, and destroy, and divide and conquer. Y'all want to sign y'all names on a contract and dotted line for them to play a paper game with y'all when shit start going left. Didn't God say not to do that? So how are you actually following God's commandments? How are you actually a follower of Christ? And these the little glitches and contradictions that we got to break down that exposes the lies in these doctrines that we hold on to so strongly. We don't think critically for ourselves. We not thinking. He said Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, if we look at it scientifically, science is the study and observation of nature. Nature is the control and creating force of the universe, right? So if we look into science, if Jesus is Christ and he was born in Palestine, which is Middle East, next to Egypt in Africa, between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn, damn, hold on. What the fuck? Jesus would have been born by the sun, right? So it would have been impossible for him to have pink or yellowish skin pigment. He would have to have brown or dark brown or bluish, purple, black skin pigment for him to even survive in that region. Because remember, I told you about the methylation process. If Christ's parents were born and growing up in an environment closer to the sun, then naturally nature would choose genetics and activate genes for him to be able to survive in that environment. So Christ would have to have been black. But why, when you think of the word Jesus, a fucking image of a white man pop up into your mind? Because we've been programmed subconsciously. You think and you can consciously say, well, Christ is a black man. But remember, you don't truly believe that because Christ is here in the form of chief, in the form of a black man. And guess what? It was already written that when Christ came to his own people, they would see him not. The Christ that Christianity teaches you about is a white man, Jesus. Black people don't fucking hate Jesus. Black people love Jesus. Don't nobody hate Jesus. But you consciously say, oh, Christ is a black man. I know he is, and y'all hated him for his teachings. Y'all hated him for his ways and his lifestyle and what he was showing and reflecting back to humanity. Come on, man. Come on. Break this shit down. Break it down. Let's make it make sense, y'all. This shit ain't adding up. It gotta add up. So that's what it is, man. Reflect the life from the honorable prophet, Eligio the Christ, man. The all-seeing I3. I love myself, man.